Hey everyone, Tony here with the Bike Lab, and today we're going to be going over how you put together a repair kit for your bicycle. There's essential elements here, and we're going to be doing a little instruction on how you pick the right stuff, but we kind of have all the elements out here. Now this again occurs if you're out on a bicycle ride, whether it's your road bike, your fitness bike, or your mountain bike, and you have the dreaded flat. This kit here will help you with any puncture flats. If you get a cut in your sidewall or a tear or any other issues, you'll probably need to call somebody, or there are some more kind of DIY systems that we might do like a 201 class on to help deal with some of those cuts, or tubeless systems. But this is for your basic flat tire you get if you have a puncture. Something sharp has punctured your tire and you need to put a new tube into your tire system. So, and that's an important note. The first most important thing is to have the right tube. Now when it comes to selecting a tube, they do the sizing in a particular way that's universal from mountain to fitness to road, but they use different measurement systems. So some use imperial, some use metric. So if it's a mountain bike style bike, it's going to be in inches. If it's a road or fitness style bike, it's going to be metric as far as how those dimensions work, but the system and organization is the same. So we have three different tubes here, and they're three different sizes. So the first number to look at is the number before the X. It's on road bikes, you'll see something like 700. On mountain bikes, you'll see something like 26 or 27 and a half. And that is the diameter of your tire. That's going to be on your tire if you need to know the size, but that's where you have a 26 inch, a 27.5 or 650B tire, or a 700C tire. That first number lets you know the diameter. After the X, you're going to find a couple of numbers separated by a dash. So on mountain bikes, often it's like a 1.75 to a 2.4 inch width, or on road bikes, you might find a 20 to 28. That's the range of tires these tubes will work for. So say you have a 700 by 25 tire, then a 700 by 20 to 28C tube will be the one that fits your tire. Same with mountain bikes. So tires are specific, tubes are in a range, so you have to get the right diameter, and then you have to get the right range of width that fits the tire that you have. Any tire you have on a bicycle, on the sidewall of that tire is going to have its particular size, and that way you can match up and get the right tube for it. So most important thing is the tube, because the tube is what holds the air on your bicycle wheel. The tire surrounds it, and the air is inflated through the tube. So it's a combo system there. So after you stop, you go to change your flat, you get that tire off, you get that old tube that's bad out, you get this one reinstalled. There's a tool that can really help you do that. So tire levers are what can kind of wedge in to that flat tire and move around to peel that tire off of there. The leverage is nice to get in there because a lot of tire systems can be a little tighter, but also as you ride your bike, your tires get really dirty. So getting your hands all over that tire versus using this tire lever keeps your hands cleaner as you go to install that new tube. So tire levers really help with that install and put back on process. The other thing that's really important is a lot of modern day bikes are going into a through axle system, which means there's a bolt that goes through the frame into the hub of the wheel and threads into the other side of the frame. Some of those systems have levers on those through axles, a lot don't. So whereas a multi-tool used to be a might be needed sort of thing in your repair kit, now we consider it fairly essential because so many of the modern day bikes, you require an Allen tool to take your wheel on and off with that through axle system. So a multi-tool, something like this that kind of folds up and has all the different sizes and ranges that you need, fits easily into your seat bag. And it's a way for you to get that wheel on and off and do any other small little maintenance things you might need to do when you're out on a ride. Okay, so we've gotten the wheel on and off, we've gotten the right tube size in your repair kit. Now we need to get air back in that tube. And there's two systems. One is vastly more popular than the other. So your CO2 and air chuck systems are the most popular setup. This is a threaded CO2 that threads into this air chuck. As you thread it all the way in, it'll puncture the top here. And then there's multiple ways that air chucks will have to release that air. Sometimes it's by pressure. This one has a valve at the top. Sometimes it's actually by unthreading that air chuck a little bit. But the head here will go onto the stem of your tube after you've reinstalled it. And one of these is worth one inner tube worth. You can't really use it on a second one. There's not enough pressure or volume left. So every flat you have is one of these, are usually around $3 per. But because it's so quick, it's like a little mini air compressor that you have with you. This is by far the most preferred system to get back up and riding again. The other system you can use is a frame pump. These frame pumps cost about as much as the initial systems for using the CO2 canister and air chuck, but they take significantly longer to pump up your tire, which is fine if you got plenty of time. And they have little mounts that can usually have them mount onto the frame behind a bottle cage, so you can have it on the bike with you all the time. It takes around 200 to 300 pumps of these smaller little air pumps to get your tire back up and to a pressure you can ride it after you've repaired your flat. So it takes a while. This is quick. This is a little longer. In the long run, this will save you a little money, but this will be much, much quicker for you if and when you have your flat tires. But this is a way for you to get air back into your tire and you're off and riding again. It used to be really common to have patch kits where you can patch the tube. We have found most people patch their tubes at home. So when they have that old tube that they've replaced on a flat, they'll stuff it into their pocket and keep it with them, and they'll patch it at home, and it becomes the new repair tube that they put back in their kit. Repairing on the side of the road ends up being kind of hard to do, depending upon where you're at, and being on the side of the road, you want to kind of get off and riding again. So we don't typically include patch kits in our repair kits just because most folks end up just doing that at home if they're going to at all. The last thing that we think is really important, because this is a lot of stuff to kind of hold in your pockets or on your body, is to have a saddlebag or a seat pack. All this stuff will fit in here, and it sits underneath and attaches to the rails of your seat on your bicycle. That way your bicycle has exactly what it needs to have its flat repaired. If you have a mountain bike and a road bike, the same stuff won't work because you'll need to have a different tube. If you don't mind switching out tubes, you can do that. But we find typically one seat pack per bike is a good way to go. That way you're never wondering or worrying about whether you have the right stuff you need in case you get a flat. It's always right there on the bike. We really like both of these options from Arundel and from Specialized. They have kind of different ways that they work, but they all work really well. Keep everything together and get you what you need to get up and riding again as you go out and ride. The only little extras we might add into what we see some people add into these is little baby wipe packets to wipe off your hands afterwards, and some folks will put 10 or 20 bucks in there just as an emergency extra bit of cash in case they end up kind of hard up and stuck somewhere and get hungry while they're waiting on a ride. So that is what we would recommend including in a repair kit for your bicycle. Again, this goes through the gambit of things you would need for all the small maintenance things you might run into as you're out on the road, but specifically getting a flat tube reinflated after you install it on your bike. If you have any questions about what repair kit you might need for your particular bike or just about this video in general, you can leave them in the comments below. And as you find this on our website at thebikelabokc.com, you can click on the little blue chat bubble in the bottom right corner, and that's our text system, and we'll chat with you about any questions you have to get you up and riding into a safe repair kit for your bike.